Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. My name is Mike, aka Operation DX, and we have arrived here on episode number 28. We are just moving along here in this series. Fantastic. I'm having a ton of fun. Anyways, we are off to the Duna system, where we need to initiate a contract and hopefully it will complete. I have a concern about its completion after we do all the craziness that we're going to do. While we stop by the Duna system, we're going to go ahead and scan the planet for resources and the moon for resources just to see what's going on. And then perhaps I will land down my other landing craft to fill its tanks with ore. We have more than enough ore and fuel to do a burn from Ike to Jewel, so that won't be a problem. Once we arrive at Jewel, we might need to do some fueling, depending on. The burn will be long, and we probably will heat up our craft nice and toasty, because those LVNs will probably cook pretty hot because it's a significant burn. And what I really like about this craft is because it has so much delta V, so much fuel, we don't have to worry about any aero braking maneuvers in any location at all. That is just fantastic. Normally, that is something you need to do for efficiency, but we can afford to just put our feet up and just kind of relax, and I really like that. And that's just due to, you know, playing the game again and design efficiency, and you know, like the whole thing that sparked it was the ore and the fuel network, and then coming up with this craft that can do everything. Science, it can do fueling, it can do everything. I freaking love it. It's a little bit hard on the system, although we do have a green clock at the moment. It's kind of flashing yellow, flashing green, so that's okay. We're away from that space station. Like we were in the previous episode, we were crunching pretty hard. Anyways, need to put ourselves into a polar orbit in order to do a proper scan of the planet. And yeah, I try to get away with, you know, I figure it's kind of polar, right? So we can do the scan. Nah, the game won't let you unless you get into a proper polar orbit. That's okay. Not too big of a deal. Not at all. If you recall from a previous episode, we do have a drone craft landed down on the surface of Duna that was to complete, I believe, a exploration contract. We also have a not so great base set up on Ike. Do you guys get this? Do you guys get this like weird little shadowy thing? I don't know. I get that problem every once in a while, but yeah, it's a little irritating every once in a while that pops up, but it doesn't happen all the time. Anyways, I like to change the scanner to the heat map. It's my favorite one. I don't like the initial one it starts on, and holy cow, man, look at Duna. It looks like it is just stock full of ore. Man, this is the place to be. This is where, you know, you can get a lot of fuel. I wonder if my landing craft could actually land down on Duna and return. I think that it might be able to do that if I'm really careful and I don't like waste time with like different landing locations and then go right back up. Yeah. All right, so got to do a plane change and then set up on Ike. Of course, I'm doing some more data collection, as I expressed in the previous episode. I want to load my craft up with as much data as I possibly can before I do that approach or capture to Jewel, because it takes several years to get there, and that, if done properly, and I set everything up properly, I will have a just ton of science. And then at Jewel, I can load up again for a return, and honestly, that really should, in theory, finish off the tech tree. And then when I get back, you know, I kind of want to do like, you know, the Kerbals have returned. So I'm thinking about sending up a SSTO plane to just pick up all the Kerbals so that they can come home and relax after their long mission, which is going to be several years. Not sure exactly, because like I said, could change their mind, could not, maybe not go back to Kerbin right away. I definitely want to go to Moho. Check out that Mohole. But We'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll return, get all our money, and maybe sidetrack a little bit, and then go to some other stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to Elu, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna do it in the series. I mean, it's brutal enough to go to Jewel with time acceleration and all that. Elu is on a whole nother level. It's got that really, really wonky orbit that goes way the crap out there. We could do a Drez. We could do a Drez flyby. Maybe if the contracts send us maybe the contracts send us in that direction, we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to thank the commenter that suggested that you double click on the planet and adjust your approach from there. If you noticed, I did my approach to Duna a little bit differently than I normally do. Normally, I get like a certain distance, and then I start doing the thing, and I kind of tweak the camera around a little bit to, get a good look at it. But if you double click on it, you can see your approach, and it makes it so much easier. Holy cow. I couldn't believe it. So, dude, kudos. Thank you so much. If you're still watching this series, I really appreciate that comment. That was really, really helpful. And that is going to save me in the future for all of my future approaches. It's just going to make things a lot easier. All right, so we got our resource information for Duna, and holy crap, it has a ton of resources again. And now we're just setting up in our polar orbit around Ike, and we're going to go ahead and do a scan and find out what Ike has. All right, so going to do my scan, and I don't see... Oh, there they are. So Ike doesn't seem to have very many resources on its surface. So it's kind of the opposite of Duna. It's got like a light orange color. No red there, so I guess there's not very many resources. It's not a problem, though. I mean, we can still... I mean, if there's any resources, as long as it doesn't take, like, years, we can land down and go ahead and just collect the resources, fill back up. It's not a problem. All right, so I don't realize it, but right now I'm kind of making a mistake. I'm setting myself up in a retrograde orbit, and I need to be in a prograde orbit so when I do my jewel burn, it'll be good to go. So, yeah. But right now I'm just so focused on... Yeah, see, I mean, I'm even like trying to calculate. I'm like, is that right? Is that right? Is this the right way? That's why I do that. If you ever notice I'm spinning my mouse around, it's like me thinking about what direction the planets are going. I do that very, very often in the series. It's just like my quick, like I'm thinking, like, okay, yeah, it spins in this way, Jewel's spinning this way, all the planets are going this way. But yeah, for some reason, I put myself in a retrograde orbit, and that is not what I want to do, so I'm going to have to do a major plane change. Fortunately, we are around the moon, so here you go. So, like, I just totally wasted some fuel there. That's terrible. That's why I was like, oh, well, maybe after that whole debacle, I should just go ahead, land down on the surface, and fill up that other ore tank. It couldn't hurt, really. So, there we go. Doing my burn, putting myself in a prograde orbit. I even did the little mouse thing, and it didn't compute to me that I was actually burning in the wrong direction. Oh yeah, you live and learn, I guess. I usually don't make mistakes like that, though. I'm usually like pretty aware of what my position is. I usually have pretty good situational awareness. All right, so now we are in the right position. And again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and deploy the other lander as soon as I get a little more stable here and collect a little bit of resources. All right, so see, spinning my mouse again. Like, I'm just going the right direction, yeah? All right, I think that is good enough. All right, so I'm going to, yeah, I like to put the pilot in there, especially for research purposes, to gain that data and stuff. Although I haven't figured out how to take the data from the surface and actually put it into the lab or the actual science. So I'm not sure if it's possible. Maybe it's just data. I mean, the thing is already, like I said, it's already kind of OP. After I got this whole thing figured out, I was like, holy crap. Because, yeah, before I was like, oh, that thing's, no. While I'm landing down on Ike, let's do that thing I like to do in each of these episodes and talk about the comments in the previous episodes. So, a couple of, amusing ones. One of the comments was referring to the mohole, and I don't know if this commenter doesn't play Kerbal Space Program and didn't realize it, but thought it was like this hole in space, I guess. But, I set him straight in the comments, just saying it's a very large hole on a planet. It's the innermost planet in the Kerbin system. And it's a really, really cool place. It looks like a crater when you're approaching it. And it's just this ridiculous giant hole in the planet's surface. And it's just awesome. And I remember doing a couple of like old kind of missions to it where, I'd try to get down as far as I could. But the problem with the mohole is like it gets hard to see and the walls are slowly kind of coming in on you and you eventually kind of crash out. So, yeah, but it's kind of fun to maybe just like hang out at the like top of the hole, just kind of look around for a little bit. I might do that in this series because it's pretty interesting. So another commenter was asking why I had left my station behind. I guess maybe they didn't understand that the Minmus station is not a ship. It's just a station for refueling. It was the part of the interplanetary fueling network I was starting to create. And then I created that ship that we're flying right now, the Goddess, which is like a be-all, do-all kind of ship. And when I undocked it for the maiden voyage, I was just taking the ship, and the ship is a beast, dude. It's an absolute beast. It's not a station. It's a ship. It's meant to be a ship. So, and let's see what else. Yeah. So I finally got around to doing the KX glider, KSP extra special episode or whatever, because I've been asked so many times by the same commenter to recreate that ship, and then he wanted me to take it over to Dude's like, man, fly it over to Duna now. It's like, well, I created the ship, and that's as far as I want to go. I want to maintain my focus on this core game series and not garble up my brain with cheat-like vehicles. So, in case you missed it, I accidentally landed down the lander that had already had full ore in the craft. Oops. So, yeah, I'm not going to land down again. We're way good. We're way good. So if we need to fill back up, we will do that at Jewel. So coming back for my standard approach and just going to dock back up to the mothership. I guess you can consider it the mothership, the Goddess. X2130AB. I can't remember what I named it, but I did put an I at the end for interplanetary. Yes, and doing the standard brute force maneuver that I've come accustomed to. Around the moons, though, this brute force maneuver is just the way to go. It is so much faster. I could do this in real time. I could just burn hard towards the target and then burn hard to stop, and then just do like the fine-tune maneuver. Of course, I am speeding up the video for you guys because we've done a lot of docking videos, and I almost ran into the station. Did you catch that? Yeah, I kind of overdid it. So I gotta be careful with the time acceleration and then overspeeding and all that stuff, because that was brutally close to ending the mission. And that would have been really, really bad. And I definitely want to continue this mission. I'm actually pretty excited about doing all the stuff I'm doing here. All right, so yeah, this thing has plenty of battery power. So once I get close, I can go ahead and just collapse the solar panels and make the turns and all the maneuvers I need to do. And it has that. And then once it connects, my juice is filled back up instantly. So Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. You gotta, find the docking port. It's tucked away in a relatively unusual spot. Usually, you would dock in an outer portion of the ship, but I intentionally did this. I wanted to tuck them away, and like I said before, I wanted the ship to have a real stocky look and feel to it, and I think, like I said, I've accomplished that quite nicely. But yeah, I wanted to have the docking ports tucked away. If there were more like space engineering kind of stuff in this game, like hangar doors and that sort of thing, and I mean, there are parts that have doors, but something like this is way too big to fit in one of those. I think there are bigger modules now, though, that maybe might just fit just barely. But yeah, I gotta watch it on the part count, because yeah, I was at cap. I could have gone further with the cap, but 255 parts is a lot of parts for a ship in general. I mean, even though you can upgrade the VAB and have unlimited, it's just way too much. And then all the physics calculations and stuff. You can see, again, the clock on my the top left corner is just going back and forth between green and yellow, so it's like the perfect balance. We kind of get a little framey here when I get out of the ship, but for the most part, this thing is behaving itself. And sometimes when you get in these physics issues, the game starts doing some odd behavior, like tanks start draining incorrectly and all that, and I don't like that at all. Not at all. So yeah, just gotta get my dude back in here. Unfortunately, next time I decide to do a mission to collect resources for fuel, I should probably pay attention to the tank and see if it's full or not. Anyhow, that pretty much does it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day and take care.